Welcome to the channel. This story is hard to believe. A crime that has become a Japanese legend. No weapons, no blood, no traces. December. Japan. The air smells of cold and old car exhaust. Tokyo's narrow streets are overcast with a gray sky, and underfoot is snow grit turned into dirty mush. People rush, as always, some to work, some home, some just passing by. On the outskirts of the city, in the Fuchu district, an inconspicuous gray car pulls out. Inside are 4 employees of the Nippon Trust Bank. They are transporting a large sum, almost 300 million yen. The money is intended for Christmas bonuses for employees of the Toshiba Corporation. For Japan in the late 60s, this was an astronomical sum. With this money, one could buy an entire block in central Tokyo, dozens of houses, hundreds of cars. Such a huge sum. They drive calmly, as the route is known, the documents are in order, and no security is required. The country is experiencing an era of trust. The police are considered among the most reliable in the world. Crime is falling. No one expects anything amiss. But this day would go down in history as the boldest robbery of the 20th century, where not a single shot was fired, and no one died. And all that would remain would be smoke, a motorcycle engine, and the shadow of a man who would be called the Ghost. It was December 10, 1968. Time, around 9:30 a.m. 4 bank employees drive along a narrow road near the walls of Fuchu Prison. They are almost at their destination, just a few minutes left before they deliver the suitcases of money to the Toshiba branch. And suddenly, right in front of them, a motorcycle pulls onto the road. On it is a young man in a police uniform. He signals them to stop. Everything looks legitimate. He has a white helmet, uniform, whistle, identification. "We've received a report that your car is mined," he says in a confident, stern voice. The driver is flustered, but obeys. Who would dare argue with a police officer? The motorcyclist explains that the bank received a bomb threat. He must check the car. His voice is calm, professional. The employees get out. Around them, silence. Only a few passers-by and a faint wind. The young policeman kneels down, looking under the car. And then, a flash of light, thick smoke, a loud bang. Panic. People scream, jump back. "It's a bomb," someone shouts. Everything happens in seconds. In the smoke, the figure of the policeman stands up, gets behind the wheel of the official car, and simply drives away. The remaining 4 stand on the road, coughing, understanding nothing. The smoke dissipates. The motorcycle is gone. The car is gone. The money, gone. Just 3 minutes. No blood. No weapons. No traces. A few minutes later, the Fuchu district erupts with sirens. Police, press, crowds of onlookers. No one can believe it. In a country where bicycle theft was considered a major crime, someone stole a car with 300 million yen. The motorcycle, found nearby, turned out to be stolen. Nearby, traces of other transport, possibly a getaway car. But no fingerprints, no witnesses. The criminal vanished. The first hours were chaos. Tokyo police announce an emergency investigation. The best detectives are brought in. They establish a headquarters of hundreds of officers. They check everyone, former bank employees, former police cadets, people who bought uniforms. And still, nothing. The first rumors appear. They say the criminal was not alone. That the smoke was just a smoke bomb. That he had planned everything for weeks, possibly months. They began to call him the ghost of Fuchu. He didn't kill, didn't injure, didn't leave a single clue. And took the money as if he had vanished into thin air. Journalists compete to write the perfect crime. Without violence. Without a trace. Immediately after the robbery, Japan seemed to freeze. This wasn't just a theft, it was a challenge to the entire system. Newspapers screamed from their front pages, "Ghost cop steals 300 million yen. A disgrace for law enforcement." Police threw everything they had into the investigation. More than 170,000 people were interviewed. They checked everyone, from schoolchildren to criminals, from postmen to bank employees. Searches were conducted throughout Tokyo. Almost 4,000 pieces of evidence were collected, and not a single one led to a breakthrough. A discarded car was found. Inside, empty boxes, a fake police megaphone, smoke bombs, gloves, and a flashlight. And not a single fingerprint. Not a single strand of hair. Not the slightest lead. Detectives literally didn't sleep for weeks. Every morning, the investigation headquarters opened with the words, "Today we will find him." But every evening ended in silence and despair. People began to fear trusting the police. After all, the criminal could be anyone, even a policeman himself. Some whispered that the robbery was the work of the Yakuza. Others, that it was revenge from a disgruntled intern. And some even said, "He's a genius. He just wanted to prove that the system is vulnerable." Investigators built dozens of hypotheses. Each seemed convincing until it collapsed like a house of cards. Perhaps someone from the bank staff revealed the transport route. After all, the criminal knew everything, the time, the route, even the make of the car. But none of the employees confessed. And no evidence was found against anyone. The criminal behaved like a real officer. He knew how to speak, how to move, how to carry himself. His actions were confident, rehearsed. Later, a former police intern who had committed suicide shortly after the robbery was found. Nearby, money, a uniform, letters. But forensics showed, he was not involved. He wasn't the one who robbed. A false lead. Some detectives believed that more than one person was involved. Perhaps someone was distracting attention, someone was waiting on another street. After all, to disappear in a city with money, leaving no trace, is almost impossible. Yet, no evidence, not a single camera, not a single witness. There were even those who believed the criminal was a former actor or magician. He used smoke, psychology, and perfect timing. He did everything so that the victims believed in the danger without asking questions. A master of deception. A genius of the theater of fear. And with each passing day, the mystery grew. Newspapers competed for sensational stories. Journalists fabricated details, and society went mad. The criminal became a legend. And although the police searched for him for years, the case remained cold. Years passed. But the story of the 300 million never died. On the contrary, it became more and more popular. Writers, directors, artists, all were inspired by this case. Novels, manga, and films appeared. Each presented its own version, its own truth, its own ghost. Some imagined him as a noble Robin Hood. Others, as a cold-blooded genius of crime. People began to admire him. Yes, he broke the law, but he did it without violence. Without bloodshed. He tricked the system, and vanished. And the more time passed, the stronger the aura of mystery grew. In 1975, the statute of limitations for the criminal case expired. The culprit could no longer be prosecuted. And in 1988, also for civil liability. He became a free man. If he was alive, somewhere in an old Japanese house, he could turn on the TV, see the news, and smile. After all this time, the whole country had been looking for him. But he was just a shadow. More than half a century has passed. Japan has changed. The police went digital, cameras are everywhere, technology is at its limit. But even now, no one knows who it was. The name, the ghost of Fuchu, lives on. This is not just a story about money, it's a story about courage, audacity, and human mystery. He proved that no system is perfect. That even in a world of order and discipline, there is room for chaos. And, perhaps, somewhere in an old chest lies an old photograph, a young man in a police helmet, with a slight smile and a gaze full of confidence. Perhaps he has long since passed away. Or perhaps, he simply lives under a different name, sometimes turning on the news and quietly whispering, "It was beautiful, wasn't it?" This is how the legend of Japan's most mysterious robbery would sound, the 300 million yen case. Without blood, without violence, without a trace. A mystery that has survived decades. And, perhaps, will never be solved.